YouTube. F True Wrestling here. Brian Crazy.
GC Styles.
And we're here with our WWE Smackdown review for 121?
Yes.
Yes. And by the end of the day, you just try to forget the day's date. I don't know how many of you guys actually out there do that. But, pretty good show. Jay, you want to start off?
Yeah, we first started off, we had Wade Barrett, Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, and Justin Gabriel open up the show, basically in the ring saying that how the reason why Nexus kind of failed was because of how he was the leader and how he did the talking, how he made the decisions, and how the core wasn't going to be based upon just Wade Barrett. Is going to be everyone has a spot and has a reason to be in the group, and they basically had their own thing. Teddy Long comes out, says he's in charge, and this is Raw. Anonymous GM says he's not a beep earring or twitting or whatever GM. Then Alberto Del Rio comes out, cuts a promo, and says, "Hey, I know you guys are new to SmackDown. I'm blah blah blah, Alberto Del Rio, but you already know that," and basically goes on to say that he's going to be destined to win the Royal Rumble. And that's how we kicked off SmackDown for the night.
Now my name is Alberto Del Rio, and you already know that. But JC's not as big of a fan of Alberto as I am.
Don't get me wrong, I don't hate the guy. I think his selling of the armbar is kind of weak. Compared to some of the arm bars that we have seen in the past, but that's just me. I know Brian really follows Del Rio and did a lot of researching about him from back in Mexico. So
yeah, and following that promo, we had a great. I'm gonna scroll down here a little bit. We had a great match. It was Alberto Del Rio versus R-Truth. During the match, they come to a backstage segment where we saw a Teddy Long laid out. We see, several people run up to Teddy Long and check on his well-being. Then we see him put on a stretcher, and he's, as Joey said, what did you say? They packed him up in the box?
Yeah, they packed him up in the truck.
Did you say truck? Yeah, you said truck. It was an ambulance. They packed him up in the truck. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we see Alberto Del Rio defeat R-Truth by... as Joey said, the crossed arm bar. I don't know. He had pretty good leverage on the arm. He had his legs.
Just the way that he went into it tonight. It didn't look as fluid as it normally does. But again, there's so many different variations of a cross arm bar. There's so many different applies. There's so many different technicians to it. So many different movements. I mean,
there's so many different applications. There's so many different techniques.
It's kind of like the Diamond Cutter. DDP could hit it from out of nowhere. Same thing with the Twist of Fate. Like you'd be standing there and boom, you're on the mat.
Funny enough, speaking of the Diamond Cutter, DDP actually made a nice comment to Randy Orton. He said he loved what he's done with the cutter and the variations.
Yes. So we're going to go into the next match?
Yeah, we go into the women's match. And I know you have some comments you'd also like to make about a... recently released superstar.
Yes, we had Beth Phoenix versus Layla from Lakewool. Basically, this was a pretty good match. I like Beth Phoenix. I like the fact is that the WWE is deciding to keep her around. She's kind of like the newer version of China. She ain't afraid to get in the ring and take bumps. She ain't afraid to go nose to nose with a man.
I know she was in the Royal Rumble.
She was in the Royal Rumble. She actually eliminated the Great Khali, and which was actually in a pretty good fashion, I have to say.
Yeah, she kissed him, right?
End of the match came. Beth Phoenix hit the Glam Slam, and pretty much basically my comments about this is because Kaval, who was the rookie from Lakewool, was released, and he did an interview a couple of days back and basically talked about a brief interview about his experience with the WWE and how Vince McMahon has a certain view of what he wants to put out on television and has a certain if you don't fit into his plan, pretty much basically that you won't get far. He didn't say anything really bad about the business. He said he rather enjoyed his stay in his very small stay in the WWE. He also talked about how when he came into the WWE and they said that he was going to be a rookie on NXT and how he was going to be partnered with Lay Cool, that how he didn't really know how to take it, being that we all know how uptight and how serious of a competitor he is. And Lay Cool actually got him laughing on several occasions and actually loosened him up. So, I hope that, can't really say much about Kaval, but he's such a great athlete. He's so polished. The fact is that WWE, he asked for WWE's release due to the fact that they didn't have anything planned for him. I think they really gave something. So, I'm kind of hoping that maybe in the future WWE will contact Kaval and say, hey, we got a great thing that we could do with you, and come on back to us. So
very similar to what they did with Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
Due to circumstance, due to their PG show and whatever have you, they released him. Well, once they realized that they could bring him back, and I think. Personally, I think there was some sort of deal worked out behind the scenes with that one. I think he was released with the understanding that he would be coming back and eventually. You know what I mean? There had to be, because the whole situation, it was just so quiet. He was gone, and then he was back. You know what I mean?
I think what it was is that the reason they let him go and brought him back at SummerSlam was we found inside information was that he had a lot of tour dates in the indies that he wanted to finish up, a couple of matches he wanted to do over in ROH and some other indie promotions before he actually came to back to the WWE full time. And I think that's the reason why they worked that angle so well the way they did.
Well, I think first they did get into some legitimate trouble for him.
Yeah, the PG.
For the PG. So I think they actually had to kind of write him out of it for a little while. I think his contract was actually severed.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in technicality, I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that.
Not going to argue it.
No. We'll have to look into that. I might be mistaken. It is, guys, it's almost 11 o'clock here in Connecticut. We started off early this morning. We got more freaking snow here, so me and JC were clearing out.
Yeah, and Tuesday we're getting another expected 1.5 feet to 2 feet of snow on Tuesday going into Wednesday. So that's going to make fun for the Wednesday morning commute here.
Which we have to clean up.
So hopefully I'll be making it to work that morning.
Oh, just information, a lot of you guys, we mentioned this in some of our earlier videos. Me and Jay live, he lives on the top floor, I live on the bottom floor in a multi-unit home. We've been neighbors for quite some time. We've been friends for about 14 years now, and it's pretty cool. Me, my wife, and my kids live downstairs. Joe lives with his parents on the upper level, and it's a great time. We get together and make these videos, which really makes it possible. Because if we didn't live so close, we probably wouldn't get together. Well,
and that's what you should think about, buddy, when you decide to move to Florida.
Hey,
it's not that phone-in shit.
My dad lives in South Carolina. You know what the last time you saw snow was? But let's keep going with this. But real quick before we move to the next thing, Kaval, I hope they can find something to do with you and bring you back soon. If not, I hope
maybe
non-stop action, can do something with you.
They could pick you back up, or maybe I think right now I think
best bet. Two-time X Division champ?
Yes, former two-time X Division champion. He had very great comings in TNA, and WWE kind of didn't have anything for him to do, so they kind of dropped the ball somewhat again on another great talent. But when you have the likes of Randy Orton and John Cena and Edge and Rey Mysterio and all these guys that they're spending so much time trying to build up, and all these little guys that they're trying to build up to get from the very low card to the mid card and from the mid card to the main event, it kind of makes it hard for a lot of newcomers coming into the business. That's why it's hard to be a rookie in a big company like WWE. I think that's the reason why when you have wrestlers go to TNA, they become so big, and then they get so comfortable with TNA and their travel schedule where they don't want to go to the WWE because they hear so much horror stories and how
about the politics up north.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
WWE is crazy. They never considered signing Samoa Joe. I mean, what are these guys thinking? I mean, dude, I was just watching.
I wouldn't want, to be honest,
just real quick. I wouldn't want him to leave TNA. It would ruin it. But I was just watching the sickest freaking thing with Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, They, at the end of the night, Kurt Angle ended up holding all the championships. It was Hard Justice 2007, freaking awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. I'm sure you could probably find it at Best Buy or on Amazon or something. eBay. But moving right back into SmackDown, because we are a little over here, where we should be, like, over here. But we see Rey Mysterio is shown walking backstage, just a quick couple second clip, kind of just a lead-in into the next thing that will happen. Then we see Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler walk up to the new Nexus. They question, the new Nexus, excuse me, I'm still calling them that. The group does have an official name. We haven't mentioned it yet in this video, I don't believe, unless you have.
Yeah, I did in the beginning.
Oh, you did in the beginning. Okay, their name is the Corre, C-O-R-R-E. I think it's a reference to the core members of the Nexus. They say they had nothing to do with the attack on Teddy Long, but they offer their help. So they want, they meaning Vicky Guerrero and Dolph Ziggler want the Corre to attack Edge for them. So then we move into the next match.
We had Rey Mysterio versus the Dashing One, Cody Rhodes. And this was actually a pretty good match. It was pretty back and forth, pretty cut and dry. Rey Mysterio finished it up with the 619 and picked it up for the win. Me and Brian actually got into a very good discussion and how we were talking about if we were going to...
Well, he broke Dashing One's nose, by the way.
Yeah, he broke Dashing Cody Rhodes' nose with the 619. I think that's kind of funny, so maybe we'll see him wear that nose guard, which I think would be pretty funny for his character.
It definitely would be.
But we got into a debate, and people, this is a question that me and Brian both have. Who do you think what was the question that we had? It was,
who would you want, if you could start a wrestling organization right now, who would you want, don't go too crazy, guys. Don't, I mean, I guess if you want to, you list whatever you want. But, yeah, put some thought into it if you'd like. Who would you want to draft to your company? I mean, sky's the limit. You could go ROH, you could go TNA, you can go, but it's got to be guys that are still active or could be active again soon. I mean, you can include Nash, you can include Sting, you can include,
anyone
Angle.
who you want that still either is still in the business or is a active wrestler.
But obviously Stone Cold, Rock, those kind of guys, they're not going to be coming back to. But I mean, realistically, who would you want to see, realistically speaking, that you think, with enough funds you could pull to your company to, represent your brand? I'm kind of curious, and so is JC, what kind of wrestling organization would you put together? What would be the dynamic? What kind of feuds would we see? What would be the main events? What would be the mid-card? I mean, guys, you love leaving comments. Everybody's got Movie Maker on their computer.
Yeah.
Make a text video and send it as a video response. We will post it.
Exactly.
Hey, if you got a webcam, if you got a freaking BlackBerry even, make a quick little video and send it to us. Dude, let's, not just dudes, girls. I know girls watch this also. But let's
But before we get into the next topic,
but just to finish off my last little thought, not to cut you off.
I thought you were going to get ready.
Well, I was going to say, let's open this up more. Let's bring this to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Me and Brian were sitting, like we said, we were sitting back and we said, we thought of, me, I like High Flyer. I was a big Cruiserweight fan. Big thing about that, big X Division fan. And if I was to have someone to pick somebody as my champion, I would pick Rey Mysterio. Brian would say if he had somebody that he was going to pick, I think he said Kevin Nash, correct?
Well, depending on, to be honest, to put Nash in charge of a company right now, I think I was just, on an over Nash defending spree at that particular moment. To be honest, if I had to pick somebody to put as the front runner of my organization right now, I would probably try to bring up one of the mid-carders, to be honest. It would be either like a Del Rio or a Dolph Ziggler or...
How about somebody on Raw?
A Raw example? Throw a couple names at me and I'll tell you what I think.
John Morrison.
Definitely. His mic skills need a little polishing, but screw it. I don't think problem is that we're focusing too much on the aspect of entertainment. Where's the wrestling?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wrestling wise.
No, I love high flyers. But there's a match that's coming up that we're going to get into. It was an amateur wrestling contest. I don't want to, get too far ahead of ourselves. But we're talking about high flying versus the mat game. I mean, wrestling was always a mat game.
Exactly.
I love high flying, but we need a combination of both. It needs to be a healthy balance.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're lacking both of those. And what we're getting is
more mic and more talking and I'm awesome and you're not, and awesome is and awesome does.
I mean these entrances. Remember Hulk Hogan? He'd be in the ring in about 30 seconds.
Exactly.
30 seconds.
Undertaker's still the longest intro in WWE history. And then we got into we started talking about fantasy warfare and our fantasy dream match, and I started talking about, I was like, what match I would love to see, and it's a shame that we might not ever be able to get it to see, because the fact is that one's too old, the other is getting a little bit up there in age, and the other one is, in his prime right now. If you were to take Rey Mysterio from 1997, when he was feuding with Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero for the Cruiserweight title and Six and all these guys, and take AJ Styles from like 2003, 2004, maybe 2005, and put those two on the biggest stage of them all for an indie promotion or any promotion. If you were running your own promotion, I would definitely book that as a main event match for a pay-per-view for myself, because I'm a big Rey Mysterio. I'm not a big Rey Mysterio fan, but I enjoy watching the man wrestle. I've enjoyed all his matches.
What do you think about AJ in 2001?
AJ in 2001, AJ was definitely at that point, AJ was on top of his game, but he wasn't as crisp as he is now. He was more like WCW up and coming, but then as soon as he got to TNA,
very good in the tag division.
Yes, and when he got to TNA and he was in the and TNA and ROH, and he built his game up over there, and he came in and TNA gave him the ball with the X division, and he just ran with it.
Would you say furthered his character more with Christopher Daniels or with Tom Cup?
I think he furthered his career with his matches with Joe and Daniels.
Joe and Daniels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers Unbreakable 2005, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles for the X Division Championship. I have that pay-per-view on DVD and on my computer, and I have no shame in throwing it on, even if I just watched that last match, that triple threat match. It was match
I never have shame throwing wrestling, man.
It was a match of 2005. But let's get into the.
Man, did you hear how that came out? I never have a shame throwing the wrestling on. Hey, let me go out back with my buckshot and kill me some deer.
Actually, I do have a break barrel rifle in my closet, but I will not bring that out due to younger viewers.
Yeah, we don't need the authorities knocking on our door. But
we got next segment in SmackDown.
Yes, next segment in SmackDown, we see Josh Matthews, who I used to refer to as Michael Cole Jr. until we started insulting him all the time, which I think is pretty funny. So Josh Matthews are pretty okay in my book. He's talking about Teddy Long backstage, but then he's interrupted by The Miz and Alex Riley. I'm not going to really go too much into depth in this. Jay, why don't you just jump on to the next segment?
The next segment was an ongoing one, so I'll just get back. We'll just speed this up. Everyone knows that SmackDown's taped on Tuesday nights. Like I said in our previous video, that there's times where you get to see something on live and that doesn't make the final cut before it's aired on Friday nights. We had at the Tuesday night SmackDown taping, Jim Ross came out for an interview in his home state of Oklahoma, Oklahoma.
Correct.
A huge ovation from the crowd, and fellow OK native Jack Swagger comes out but rips the state. And basically, I'll let Brian take the next part of the segment.
Cool. We'll try to keep this moving for you guys. We're probably getting close on time. A quick thing, we've been having a little bit of issues with our video editing software, and it seems like also when some of our videos are going up to YouTube, they're not processing correctly. So we apologize about some of the quality issues that we've had with some of the recent videos. I think it's more important about what we say than, we want you guys to be able to see us, obviously. Yeah. That's why we're using this particular piece of equipment right now, because we know it's reliable. But, we've tried some other things because, honestly, we want to grow. We don't want to be stuck in this one setting producing videos. We want to be able to, move around.
Shoot videos on the fly.
Trust me, we got some pretty big houses here, and, just to see one room all the time kind of sucks.
Yeah,
And
last night you were actually nice enough to see my living room, even as though we were using a digital camcorder we got from my mother for Christmas.
Just not enough light. It's just not enough light. And,
but the video was clear. It
looked great on the little preview screen, but it seems like once you throw it up on the computer, it's just dark. Then you try to brighten it a little bit, then you get the pixelization with the little box effect. But back to SmackDown. Basically, to jump right in, and part of the reason WWE had Jim Ross do the off-air segment with Jack Swagger at Tuesday SmackDown tapings in Oklahoma was so that the crowd and the crowd would just get excited. It was a cool thing, and I really wish they kind of would show it, on television. I don't understand why the world has to be shielded from Jim Ross. Vince has really got something up his ass about this guy right now.
I don't know.
He even took him out of the freaking intro.
Yeah, he did. And he's so high on Michael Cole, but that's another topic for another video. Basically, they came up with you're continuing on with the segment.
Yeah, they went into the Swagger versus Kofi Kingston in an amateur wrestling match. It's about to start. It's up next. And Jay, why don't you jump into that?
Jack Swagger versus Kofi Kingston in an amateur wrestling bout. Basically, it came about takedowns and points and how many seconds you came down. Basically, at the end. It came down to Kofi lost by 1 point. I think. Okay, Jack Swagger, first of all, which is information that Brian gave me during the segment. Jack Swagger is not a two-time All-American. He won it once. I don't know, WWE, I guess WWE thinks that, we'll just say this and then...
Nobody ever won the NWA Heavyweight Championship that's wrestled there, but he's a two-time All-American.
Yeah. So, but, no, R-Truth actually won the NWA Heavyweight Championship.
But they don't recognize it. Go onto his WWE.com WWE profile page.
I have a feeling WWE feels threatened because the fact is that R-Truth now belongs to the long list of champions from the AWA, the NWA, and WCW to hold that strap, and I think Vince McMahon feels a little bit threatened by that.
Well, the AWA had its own time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Rocket Promotions, you're thinking.
Basically, at the end of the match, even though that Swagger won the match, he felt that he had to bully Kofi around. Kofi winds up hitting Trouble in Paradise, then goes up to the top rope and does that phenomenal Ricky the Dragon Steamboat style crossbody block to end it, and then we go to a commercial break and come back with the next match.
Hey guys, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties like we were talking about earlier in this video with some of our equipment. We are now using another camera to produce this section of the video, so it's unbelievable. I think me and Jay are going to be taking a ride to Best Buy tomorrow to possibly make some purchases. So we might be coming back with Death and True Wrestling HD maybe as soon as tomorrow, more than likely within the next couple weeks though.
Yes.
So we come back from a commercial break. We see Josh Matthews talking about ratings have been the highest on Sci-Fi in 5 years. We see Cole and Stryker bickering, and then we move into Trent Barreta versus Drew McIntyre.
We talked briefly about in the last video, as a part of the video, about how Drew McIntyre is married to Tiffany, and they're doing an on TV relationship between McIntyre and Kelly Kelly.
Which any of the fans just know is completely implausible.
Yeah, because the incident with Matt, Lita, and Edge. We won't go too much into that detail. It's another topic for another video. And basically,
it's about 20 degrees out here, and everybody in our house is sleeping. I got 3 boys. Joey's parents are crashed out. It's my wife's asleep. We just had to step outside, but we figured, we made about a 30-minute video. We lost the last 7 minutes. Why not just give you some quick information so and close out the night and get you the video? Because we're not going to put it up half done. We already did that once with the best of WWE. So we move into that. Drew McIntyre picks up the win over Trent Barreta. He tries to shake his hand post-match, shakes it off. Drew attacks.
Out comes Kelly. Kelly and basically looks at him like he's an animal, like he's a monster, that, this, and the other, etc. Pretty much basically setting up the on-TV relationship. Like I said, it's uncalled for. You don't really need that to put a wrestler over.
What happened is this is something that
I just think it's because they don't have anything for Kelly.
It's not that I think that the storyline's like a crappy storyline, but it was written for Tiffany and Drew McIntyre, and then they figured, okay, we don't need Tiffany. Why not have Kelly in a different storyline and let Tiffany still work with McIntyre? Yeah. You know, why not let this husband and wife stay together on the road? You know, because it really sucks now, because now Drew's on the road, however many days, almost 300 days a year, and, you know, Tiffany's sitting home. So I just think it sucks that they broke up a family like that when they could have had an angle written for. Moving on, we don't want to, make this too long. Then we start off with the Miz promo. He comes out to the ring with his manservant, Alex Riley. You like that, manservant?
Yes.
And then we see Edge come out, and he starts cutting a promo about how he's tired of the Raw rejects coming over to SmackDown. Then we see the Miz kind of book out of the ring, and
then we see A-Right come back into the ring. He's like, well, you know what? Boom, spear. Then this sets up the next. They leave the ringside area. Dolph Ziggler comes out and does the ringside announcing commentary, pretty much basically. Mm-hmm. And we have a pretty good match between Edge and Gabriel. And I don't know why they don't let Gabriel do more matches like this. I think it was a very good and interesting match. And I think Gabriel could be a future Intercontinental Champion with the company.
Oh, I definitely do. I think Justin Gabriel's got a lot of talent. I think that he showed phenomenally in this match. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to achieve a clean victory, but, that's the MO of the Nexus, that's the MO of the Corre. Victory by any means, take no prisoners, it's whatever necessary to achieve success. So, like you said, Justin Gabriel picked up the win with a little bit of help from the Corre and from Big Zeke Jackson. And then we move into the post-match, and we'll close this up, guys.
Basically, Nexus jumps in the ring and attacks, viciously attacks Edge, basically hits all their finishers. Then kind of to close out the thing, Dolph Ziggler comes off the commentary, gets into the ring, and kind of puts his foot, like a Captain Morgan's commercial, on Edge's chest. And I was thinking that Vicky was probably going to hand him the world title, and he was going to raise it above his head or put it around his waist.
You saw Vicky hugging that thing, man?
Yes. I have a feeling that Ziggler's going to get his push at the Royal Rumble. Overall rating, what would you want to give this
SmackDown? I think it was a 3.5 out of a 5. I know in a previous video we discussed this a little bit further in depth, but guys, we are freezing our freaking balls off.
I give it about a 3. Because the fact is that the reason why I give it a 3 is just because the segment with Jack Swagger and Kofi Kingston really didn't make any sense just for a friggin' feud.
I mean, it's kind of like the segment they did a couple months back between Jack Swagger and Kofi Kingston. I think it was just a filler.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, they're trying to build a feud, but not the right way.
No, not the right way. I have a question of our viewers. I was viewing some videos and stuff online. I'm thinking about picking up a replica belt. I know a lot of you guys have left a lot of comments. I'm undecided because I really want to pick up the original TNA and the NWA TNA X Division Championship, just because I can't find the replica belt of the new one that's out. I really do want to get the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but it's $500 for the adult size.
That's a lot.
I can't find it anywhere cheaper than $500, and even with a real strap, it's going to cost me anything over $500. So, give me your ideas. What kind of TNA belt I should get? I mean, there's only 2. So, do you guys think I should get one used off of AJS belts for $229, the X Division Championship, or should I save that $250 and maybe get a couple months down the line get the TNA World Heavyweight Championship? Let me know what you think. My voice is cracking. I'm still fighting a cold, and this is F and True Wrestling, and I think we're calling it a night.
I think we're going to call it a night, yeah. Like JC said, for F and True Wrestling, this has been Brian Crazy.
JC Styles, have a great weekend, and we'll see you Monday night with the Raw review.
We sure will. And we got a big week coming up. We got Raw, we got Impact, we got SmackDown, and we got the Royal Rumble. And whatever great news and content we decide to bring to you. So guys, stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting week. And we'll see you guys on Monday.